Well, hello guys, welcome back. I had something interesting happen last night as I was working with Aphrodite and Poseidon. Um, I was trying to connect with them and build a relationship, and I was questioning a lot of stuff. Well, between the ritual and the ritual bath, I got really, really sick. I felt like somebody had hit me all over my body with hammers, then turned them around and used the claw head. And I had no idea what it was from. I tried to be logical. I thought maybe it's the paint I've been working with. Maybe I'm having delayed reaction. Maybe it's change of weather. Maybe I'm coming down with something. But I could barely make it up to my bed. And once I made it up to my bed, I was just in so much pain. I was thrashing around. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Because I was like, well, if the gods are going to do this, if it's a reaction to me doing a ritual, I'm never working with these two gods again. And I woke up this morning and I had a dream, I think it was from Dionysus, of playing a game, of playing like a video game, and yet at the same time I was watching it. And I was going through this game, and the objective was to get all this magical stuff just for basics to take care of yourself. And to go through and just get the basics to take care of yourself and serve the gods. And there were these other players that would remain invisible until they saw you had something, and then they'd run up and they'd take it. And no matter how many times you did this and how good you got, the results were always the same. And I said to Dionysus, because I was outside the game again, I said, you might as well not play. And he says, exactly. And I had to think about that one for a while, and then I realized you can't overextend yourself. Because I was thinking, well, I would really love to help out with Florence. Who wouldn't, right? You can't overextend yourself. You can't let your better attentions take advantage of you. You should help if and when you can, and you feel like you should, but if you know it's over your head, don't help. Don't try to stop a hurricane by yourself. Don't try to, downgrade a hurricane or do all this stuff by yourself. Don't assume there are like 5 million other people doing this too, because everybody's as nice as you, and try to, do this stuff. If you want to work in a group, make sure there's a group working before you do it. Don't just assume there are other people doing this. So I got tagged, and I got tagged hard because I was not only trying to communicate with the gods and goddess, which hurt me, but I was putting myself out way beyond my ability and, trying to see this storm dissolve and everything, and trying to see this storm totally, go poof. That was not a good idea, because I didn't have a coven behind me. I didn't have all these hundreds of thousands of witches behind me. I didn't have anything behind me, because I kept trying to, fill, where are all these other witches? Where's all the magic out? Why am I not tapping into anything? I'm alone here, and once I realized I was alone, it was like being alone in the middle of a storm. It was like, oh shit. So I tagged myself, and I tagged myself good. That is how to not do magic. Don't get yourself in over your head. I got really, really sick. That's why I was so pissed off and agitated yesterday, because it's been coming for a couple days. And I just could not, and this is weird as a witch, I could not feel all the collective magic going against the storm, because usually the older you get and the more you practice, you can kind of feel the energy. It's not like you're stealing the energy or trying to take advantage of it, but you can feel the energy moving towards something and you can add to it. Or not draw it to yourself, but kind of weave into it. And I didn't feel that. And it was like, as a witch, come to think of it, the last year or so, I'm not feeling anything. It's like the magical patterns that used to be there aren't there anymore. It's like there's this disruption coming through. And let's not blame Loki. It's not Loki's fault. And I don't know if it's from infighting between people, because, the internet has kind of ruined magic in one sense, because at one time, people only fought at conventions and in books. Big flippin' deal. There was no internet. You couldn't go every single day and pick a fight with another witch unless you were in a coven. So people kind of practiced on their own, and they minded their own knitting, and they knew enough as adults to try and keep their mouth shut when they ran across a witch you didn't like. Then the internet came, and at first it was just articles, and people were bitching back and forth at each other, but it wasn't too bad. But now you have YouTube and Instagram and Tumblr, and people are just starting these almighty witch wars, and I think that's a lot of it. You can't do your own thing and do your own practice if at the same time you're under assault from everybody around you. You can't. That's why I've repeatedly at times walked away from this channel, because I'm like, it's not worth it. My own magical practice isn't worth it if 95% of the time it's going to be having to defend myself from people that don't agree with me. You can't practice like that. So I think it was Dionysus's opinion that, if it continues, I'm walking away. That doesn't sound good to the loyal people, but you can't practice in a war zone. You can't practice and have people constantly attacking you and bickering at you and everything else. Now, of course, when you say that, you kind of feed the trolls, but there's always the third option. There's stay, there's walk away, and there's attack. I am less and less a Wiccan as I go on. I practice Voodoo, and in Voodoo, a preemptive strike is perfectly okay, and I've done it in the past, and I will probably do it in the future. So, it's kind of like you kind of reach that point where you have to, one, know to not magically extend yourself, and two, you have to know when to defend yourself. You have to know when, even though people are just being little shits online, if it's interfering with your practice, to go on the defense, and then if they keep it up, to do a preemptive strike. I can't tell you how to do that. I am going to tell you don't put curses on people, because that shit can boomerang and then you'll really be sorry. But I am going to tell you that you put it in the hands of the right kind of god. Usually Loki works quite well. And say, look, I'm just trying to practice my practice and be left alone. Don't ever go to the gods if you started this shit, because it'll come back to you. But if you're trying to practice on your own, and you're getting attacked all the time, and people are being little shits about it, I don't care if they're 8 and they're just a little dweeb going around the internet giving people shit, or they're 80 and they think they're Grand Wizard or whatever and you're all wrong. Go to the gods and they'll deal with it accordingly. So yeah, that's kind of the message for today. Don't get yourself overextended trying to help people, and don't practice when you can feel that the magic isn't there. And if you have to protect yourself, if you have to use aggressive magic to protect yourself, it's totally fine. There's nothing written in the Wiccan Rede that says let people beat the shit out of you or ruin your practice or take you away from the gods. There's nothing in the Wiccan Rede about that. If you have to defend yourself, it's perfectly fine. If you have to bind and banish people, do it. Do it. They're only getting back for what they've done to you. And it's not like you're getting revenge on them. You're protecting yourself. It's like if a dog was running at you to bite you, you just don't let the dog bite you. You defend yourself. So I hope that helps, guys. I hope the people that are writing out Florence are okay. Remember not to overextend yourself in disaster situations. It's normal to want to help, but if you can't, you can't. It's nothing bad on you. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.